Alright, let's talk about Survivor Series. Yeah, we went to Survivor Series, and overall it was a pretty fun time. I'm glad it seems like they're shifting back towards elimination matches. But there are a few things that I would like to vent about, and the main thing is that it just does not feel the same, right? It just does not feel the same. J-Body put it perfectly. He said, back in the day, you had females in the audience taking their shirts off for D-Generation X. Now, we have Glowsticks, right? We've gone from tits to Glowsticks, alright? And that just pretty much summarizes it, alright? When you're sitting there in the crowd, it does not feel like you're watching a WWF show. Like if we went to a WWF show back in 2000 and then you time traveled us to a show of today, it'd feel like a different promotion, right? It would not feel like we were watching a product from the same promotion, right? It doesn't feel like WWF. It feels more like a WCW hybrid, alright? Someone we talked to said it felt like a weird 90s WCW impersonation of WWF. Like if WCW of the 90s tried really hard to pass off one of their shows as a WWF show, that's what it would look like. It does not feel like we're watching a production of the World Wrestling Federation or Entertainment, whatever. Now, the first match on the card, in my opinion, represents one of the biggest challenges facing the WWE and TNA today. And that's the issue of highly talented wrestlers with underdeveloped characters and personalities, right? Because as these guys were coming out one by one, I saw so many people in the crowd basically like, who in the world is this guy? Why the heck should I care about this guy? Right? In previous videos, I talked about generic wrestler 101s, the need for interesting storylines and characters, building fully developed personalities, the bad guy, Razor Ramon, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, Bret the Hitman Hart, Ravishing Rick Rude, Macho Man Randy Savage, Jake the Snake Roberts, Rowdy Roddy Piper, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Alright? At this point, it seems like Shelton Benjamin and John Morrison are pretty much at a standstill. Sheamus is in the main event already instead of getting a proper build-up, which in my opinion may do more harm than good. He might just end up being the next Umaga. The most developed character in that match seemed to be The Miz. And it was so cheesy when he cut his promo. I wanted to leave when he stood up there and he's like, because I'm... Then you see all the young fans in the crowd going, awesome! Because I'm awesome? We've gone from sing-along to The Rock to that? Again, tits to Glowsticks. I think anyone who's watched my last video on weight classes can pretty much guess how I felt the Rey Mysterio-Batista match should have turned out. And for the most part, it did turn out that way. Batista dominated that match. But you just had to have that one moment where Rey Mysterio goes for the 619 and it looks like Batista's jumping as hard as he can to fly backwards. Yeah, right. All right, Batista's almost 300 pounds. He is not flying backwards to the 619. This match should have been total squash domination. All right, it should have been like Diesel versus Rad Radford, which I think someone still has up on YouTube. Rey Mysterio has no business being in the ring with someone like Batista, and in my opinion should have never won the World Heavyweight title the way that he did. Alright? This is the second time this year that I've seen a former world champion get squashed on pay-per-view. After having the world title for a year, JBL walks into WrestleMania 25 and gets his ass kicked in 30 seconds by Rey Mysterio. Now 6 months later, Rey Mysterio, former world champion, walks into Survivor Series and gets his ass kicked by Batista. What does this do for the credibility of the world titles in the WWE? Right? I know newbie young Cena fans don't care, but too bad we do, right? It's ridiculous. Finally, we have the epitome of tits to Glowsticks, and that's the main event. And in my opinion, the most fun and exciting match of the evening. But the second Shawn Michaels super kicked Triple H out of the ring, I knew instantly, at that moment, that John Cena was winning the match. Because there is no way Cena is beating both members of DX all by himself in a handicap match. That's ridiculous. Even for Cena. The only way Cena's winning this match is if DX fights each other. So the second Shawn Michaels super kick Triple H out, instant spoiler. But yet, the excitement, the star power, and the talent in the match was enough to carry it to an exciting experience. And as me and J-Body were leaving the arena, it was funny, from the floor all the way to the outside of the arena, people were coming up, even people in Cena shirts, they were coming up asking where J-Body got his Attitude Era DX shirt. J-Body's like, you know, I got this 10 years ago. And the same thing happened to me. When I went to Raw a while back, I was wearing my Stone Cold shirt, NYPD, knock your punk ass down, Attitude. And people were coming up to me in their, you know, spinny belts and their Cena Nation shirts like, wow, where did you get that? It's like, it's like they don't know. It's like they don't know the badassery that came before the modern times. You know, it's like, wow, it is tits to glow sticks. You know, and I don't understand how people can defend the direction of this current product. And to those who do, I guess, enjoy the next Raw where it goes from tits to glow sticks to tits to midgets. Now I'd like to address something that I think I sometimes hear some Cena fans saying, and that's that, look, you liked Hulk Hogan, didn't you? Well, Cena's the next Hulk Hogan. How can you bash him? He's used just like Hulk Hogan. No, he's not. John Cena is nothing like Hulk Hogan. The main difference between John Cena and Hulk Hogan is Cena's constant positioning as the underdog, and this makes all the difference in the world because it causes the company to write itself into a corner. Look. How can you have Cena basically run over the entire roster? Haven't beat Lashley, haven't beat Khali, haven't beat Umaga, haven't beat Shawn Michaels, haven't beat Triple H, haven't beat Shawn Michaels and Triple H at the same time? And then next month, he's the underdog again, trying to beat the odds. That makes no sense. That defies logic. By definition, by logic, at that point, he is no longer the underdog. And that's where the formula falls apart and we can't get behind it anymore. Hulk Hogan, on the other hand, is the complete opposite of this. One of the reasons why WrestleMania 6 was so special, so badass, is because finally, we had someone that could stand up to the Hulkster. Usually when Hogan gets in the ring with somebody else, it's the other person that's the underdog. Whether it's Roddy Piper, Mr. Perfect, the $1 Million Man, Randy Savage, or even Ric Flair, when they get into the ring with Hulk Hogan, they are the ones that have to overcome the odds against Hulkamania, not Hulk Hogan, right? And because of that, Hulk Hogan can kick lots of ass, and it makes sense according to the formula, and we can stay behind it. All right? John Cena is not the equivalent of Hulk Hogan. John Cena is the equivalent of Roddy Piper kicking Hulk Hogan's ass over and over again, yet you're still trying to call Piper the underdog. Right? And I know, newbie Cena fans don't think about this stuff. They don't care about this stuff. But too bad we do. Right? And it's ridiculous.